Welcome to our section on trait theories. In the last chapter, we discussed the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or the MBTI. Despite its popularity in the private sector and applied areas, it does not have the full support in the research community. This is due to criticism regarding its lack of reliability. Its greatest appeal is also its greatest weakness from a methodological standpoint. Many are drawn to the MBTI because it places each test taker into a discrete type, which comes with a detailed personality profile and career advice. People like to think that the world and the people in it can be organized into neat little boxes, but practically this doesn't work well. Typologies are very comprehensive and detailed, but they have a hard time reliably categorizing people. That's because it's likely that the trait approach provides a more accurate explanation of personality differences. Typologies place people into introverted or extroverted categories, but it's rarely the case that someone is completely introverted or completely extroverted. Most people are somewhere in the middle. This is why the trait approach measures characteristics of people along a continuum. The MBTI actually measures on a continuum, but then assigns people to categories based on cutoff scores. This is what leads to reliability problems. If you score far away from the cutoff, then your type is unlikely to change if you took the test again a month later. But it might change for our people in the middle close to the cutoff. So let's say that we have a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being very introverted and 10 being very extroverted. 5 is our cutoff for the categories. So everyone who scores from 1 to 5 is labeled as introverted, and everyone who scores from 6 to 10 is labeled as extroverted. I score 2, and you score a 5. Finally, Joe scores a 6. You're classified as an introvert, but your score is actually closer to Joe's, an extrovert, than it is to my score as a fellow introvert. It's likely that you have more in common with Joe than you do with me. So if we're looking at just the classification, just the types or categories, we may make some false assumptions. You may assume that all of this information and description related to introversion is more descriptive of you or more accurate than what it actually is, because you are very close to being an extrovert. An extrovert. And maybe you take the test again next week and you answer a single question a little bit differently, and you end up scoring a 6. Suddenly, you're in a different category than you were before. And so this is what can happen with repeated testing with the MBTI. People can switch categories, which can be problematic. The MBTI will tell you where you place along the 4 dimensions, in addition to your overall type. And I encourage you to look at that when interpreting your type. I'm an INTP, but all of my scores indicate only slight tendencies, except for intuition is pretty strong. And so I should take that into consideration when I am interpreting the feedback that is provided along with my Myers-Briggs type, that it may be the case that a different profile fits me almost as well as the one that I'm assigned to. There's a long history of typologies. Greeks believed that people could be classified based on humors or bodily fluids, such as blood and phlegm. William Sheldon argued that body type influenced personality type in a kind of stereotypical, fairly offensive way, actually. A popular modern type system is type A versus type B. Type A people are driven, competitive, high achievers, whereas type B people are relaxed and easygoing. There are advantages and disadvantages to each type. Type A set higher goals and have higher academic achievement, but they are at a higher risk for a variety of health problems. However, these negative health consequences are the result of a single component of the type A profile. Rather than high stress time urgency, it's the hostility that drives the negative health effects. So it's really the hostility and the interpersonal component. We might think that it's the time pressure and the stress component. We look at type A versus type B people, given what we know about stress and the negative consequences to our health as a result of stress, then it seems that a variety of factors could be problematic within the overall type A profile. If you have that type A person who is on the edge of their seat, who is getting anxious and stressed every time they encounter daily stressors like traffic, versus your more kind of laid back, relaxed type B people who just sit back and listen to their music and go with the flow, despite how much traffic there is, you think that would be highly problematic, but it seems to be the hostility component. If our type A people are not only stressed and anxious during that traffic, but they're adding that hostility component, that road rage, it's making them angry that they are in traffic. That's where we see these negative health consequences. So just as Horney and the attachment theorists predicted, quality relationships are key to psychological and physical health. So check out the next video for a discussion of the strengths and weaknesses of the 5-factor model.